Born in Houston, Texas on March 20th, 1982, Jill Lynn Uto was raised by her mother, Joanne Browning, along with her older sister, Carrie, and her younger sister, Jenna. The family lived in Colorado Springs, Colorado for only 5 years, as Joanne thought it wasn't a good environment to raise her children. The city had a prominent gun culture, and the elementary school they went to had metal detectors at their doors. Joanne decided to have her daughters homeschooled until they all moved to Syracuse, New York in 1997. Due to its vast differences in curricula compared to Colorado, the girls decided to earn GED diplomas instead of finishing out high school. When she turned 18, Jill began living on her own as an independent, renting a studio apartment on 600 James Street that was a few miles away from her mother's house. She paid her rent by working at an Aeropostale store at the Shoppingtown Mall. She had a dream of one day becoming a pediatric nurse and even began filing paperwork with a few medical agencies. On January 28, 2001, Jill had made plans to visit Joanne and Jenna to watch the Super Bowl that night. She called Jenna at approximately 11 a.m., asking to talk to their mother. She told her that the two were going to the grocery store to get food for the game and that Joanne wasn't able to talk to her at the time. About an hour later, the two had returned home from shopping, and Jenna tried to call her back multiple times but got no response. Jill never arrived at the house that night. The next morning, Joanne made several calls trying to get in touch with her to no avail. She called her workplace at the Aeropostale store and learned that Jill didn't show up for work that day. Worried, Joanne and Jenna drove to her apartment to check on her. Joanne found that her door was unlocked, and as she opened the door, she found the lifeless body of Jill lying in the living room. She had been stabbed repeatedly in her chest, her neck, and her back. Mortified, Joanne held Jenna back from seeing her sister's body and frantically called 911. When police examined the crime scene, it was determined that Jill had been murdered the previous afternoon. The weapon found at the scene turned out to be one of Jill's own kitchen knives. There were no signs of forced entry and no items were stolen from her apartment. Because of this, police believed that the suspect was somebody that Jill knew. However, none of the witnesses that were interviewed reported seeing anyone enter the apartment before she was killed. At a news conference in 2016, the Syracuse Police Department stated they had several people listed as suspects and believed that a DNA profile could be constructed with the evidence available. Despite this, police never publicly announced the names of any suspects in the case, and no charges have been filed. Joanne Browning had previously suffered the losses of her father in 1999 and her mother in 2000. After the murder of her daughter, she was unemployed due to a stress-related disability and spent the next several years trying to find justice for Jill. She would talk to investigators 5 to 6 times a day and visited the police department regularly. She hung up ribbons and flyers around town that were colored pink, Jill's favorite color. She created a website and had 2 billboards installed, which posted a $13,000 reward for the killer's arrest. She even made several television appearances to direct attention to the case, such as on the Montel Williams Show and America's Most Wanted. When asked about her efforts to spread word about the case, she said, quote, "I need closure. I need, as Jill's mother, to know that she can rest in peace, so I can look at her picture and I can go see her at the cemetery and tell her, honey, we got him. It's okay now, because right now it's not okay." On October 24, 2007, Browning was working on the roof of the Tobin's Garage auto repair shop in Syracuse as a crew member of the Henderson Roofing Company. According to Sergeant Tom Connellan, as she was laying down sheathing, she took a step backwards off the roof and fell onto the pavement 15 feet below. She was taken to University Hospital in critical condition with severe brain trauma. The next morning, Browning was taken off of life support and passed away from her injuries. Connellan said that before her fatal accident, she had called investigators that morning as well as the day before for updates on her daughter's case. To this day, the murder of Jill Lynn Uto has yet to be solved.